Okay, we'll catch up with John Jackson, the head of women and girls football here at the club. John, new season for the women starts next month. How have your preparations gone for that?
Yeah, very well. We've got obviously our under-18 side has now come up and is a fully fledged senior development team. We've got about 32 players across the two sides, currently playing pre-season friendlies and integrating them. Typical problem when you've got 18-year-olds or those still at school, more often than not, August they're away. So it's been great for us. We've been able to get full squads out. Today we had, I think, 22 players. Not easy to juggle for the game, but getting some good mileage under in their belts, and yeah, looking good.
In terms of the new season ahead for the women's first team, especially, what are your hopes? Obviously, you've been quite close for the last two seasons. You're hoping third time lucky in that respect?
Well, you're always looking to improve on what you've just done. I mean, last two seasons we finished runners up and third place. As you say, we've had sticky spells throughout the season where you think maybe if we hadn't have made the odd mistake here or the odd mistake there, we possibly could have topped the league. And undoubtedly that is the target, to try and finish as high as we can. But let's not underestimate the other teams in there. Some really good sides in there. Margate, for instance, who again they were very close last year. So it's going to be a tough season for them.
Now, for women's football, it's been an excellent summer. We had that fantastic World Cup, and no matter whether it was TV ratings, the news headlines, they were all praising the side and really raising the profile of the sport itself. Obviously, at this level, it's on a much smaller scale, perhaps. But how can you harness some of that goodwill and the interest that we saw in the game and bring it down here on a Sunday afternoon?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the enthusiasm for the game runs right the way through, from the bottom of the grassroots right the way up to the highest level, and we're seeing those improvements at the top mirrored all the way through the game as well. The uptake for girls, the plan that the FA had to double the number of female footballers in a 5-year period seemed incredibly ambitious, but judging by the amount of players that approach us at all age groups, that's happening. And of course, the more girls that are playing, the greater the improvement, the higher the standard goes, and we're seeing that right the way through, from our youngest players right the way into our senior sides.
You mentioned those youngest players now. What, in terms of the structure, what age do you start at, and how many teams have you got leading up to that women's first team?
Yeah, we've got teams from under 10 up to under 18. We'd like to have an under 9s as well, but it's doing it at the right time when we have enough players and the right coach in there as well. You've also got the Pebbles that takes place here on a Saturday morning, where the young girls between sort of 5 and 7 are coming and joining in with the young boys, and again that can only help their progression and their improvement. So yeah, from the Pebbles right the way through under 10s, under 18s, and into 2 senior teams now, first and a development squad. I think we've got 150 registered players here now, female players, so looking good.
I mean, that must be, for you personally, having been involved with it for a number of years, really gratifying to see that structure now come right the way through.
Absolutely, that's what we've been planning to do since I've been in here, to make sure it's a fully joined up player pathway, to make sure that we were feeding players in from our youth sides into our senior side, and playing the way that we wanted them to play, and with the right attitude and the right desire and the right spirit. We think you can see that coming through now. And if that carries through right the way into the senior side, it will help us enormously to know that when those players have come through, they're playing in the same way all the way through, all their journey through this club, from under 10 right up into the senior side. We want them to play attractive, attacking football.